Hello and welcome everyone to the Indian Ancient Wisdom Onshore and Offshore podcast. Today we are going to meet a wonderful award winner, um, Australia's leading Ayurveda practitioner, consultant at and owner of Ayurveda for Wellness, Health and Wellness Clinic from Perth. She has achieved numerous awards. She is philanthropic, mentor, educator, and whatnot. Please welcome Dr. Vidhu Sharma from Perth. Hello, Dr. Vidhu. How are you?
Hello, Dr. Khushdil. I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving a time and an opportunity to connect with you on this platform, Indian Ancient Wisdom Onshore and Offshore. I'm happy
Thank
to
you
have you.
so much for having me, Dr. Khushdil. Thank you.
No problem. So Dr. Vidhu, this is my all-time favorite question. What makes you to study Ayurveda?
A very relevant and a very good question to start with is my journey of association with Ayurveda has been there for a long time. So let me tell you one fact that I come from a family where I'm the only Ayurveda doctor
Mm-hmm.
and a practicing one as well. So none of my family, although they all believe in Ayurveda, but we did not have an Ayurvedic doctor. So they're all, related to modern medicine. But yes, as a matter of fact, now I look back at my life. Yes, there's been a strong affinity for natural ways to cure and natural therapies and what would, for example, what can we eat to just naturally keep ourselves healthy, what can we use on the skin, apart from the chemicals in whatever products we are using. So that kind of inquisitive attitude I always had.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, but then also taking a look at my life journey, it was a journey meant to happen. And Ayurveda came my way, very fortunate to complete this bachelor's in Ayurvedic medicine and surgery, and then started practicing. And it's an integral part of my existence.
Okay. And what makes you to travel from India to Australia?
India, of course, the country of origin,
Mm-hmm.
and a very proud woman of Indian origin I am. So the rest of the family is there. I'm practicing Ayurveda, alongside doing several other things here in Australia, as well as New Zealand. So going back and forth, there are various reasons, even when you are in Ayurveda practice, you need to be in touch. Sometimes I go for training, sometimes I go for products, sometimes, just to meet the family. So it's a mixture of everything together.
And as you said, like you are working in a different areas, as I have seen your, I was going through your profile. So you are a mentor, you are a coach, and you are a Australian qualified educator as well. You are working with mental health people and teaching as well. So what makes you to become an educator, mentor? Like what drives you to work in this field?
All right. Always been very passionate for, not just getting the education, but also imparting education to the best of my abilities, sharing the knowledge and understanding that I may have gathered through studying. And I think what the best thing I feel that happened in my journey of life was the education, as everyone knows and we all believe in, you never stop learning. So what
Hmm.
I did was, after completing my bachelor degree in Ayurveda and practicing, I somehow did not stop studying. So I'm sure anyone like yourself, myself, and others who have made Australia or New Zealand or any other country their home, leaving their country of origin, we all must have, realized at some point in time that it is very, very important to sort of learn the ways of the new country. You cannot just continue living and practicing ways that were in your home country. So similar
True.
things happened to me. So I was very inquisitive to get more knowledge and understanding. So I studied quite a bit here. So I studied in the field of aged care. I studied in the field of mental health, community services, allied health, dementia, and many and business,
Mhm.
business growth. So I did all these relevant courses while my stay, which has been many, many, many years overseas now. So while I was doing that, the passion around imparting the knowledge led me to become an educator overseas, and sharing the knowledge and training students and participants in, and even an educator in the field of Ayurveda. So I've been doing it for many, many years.
Right. So, Dr. Vidhu, what makes you to just keep going on in this path?
My firm belief in life is too short. You can't stop. And there's nothing like following your passion.
Mm-hmm.
And when you love the work that you do, the nature of industry that you want to be connected to, I think no one can stop you. So it becomes a very natural effort.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really. I mean, think about being in a job. Yes, we all need to work. We all have our financial needs, running the family, all those commitments. But think about being in a job where you're not very satisfied. So every day probably becomes a big effort, even to go to work. But for me, the work that I am doing is just following my passion, and it becomes effortless, and I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to continue till God is giving me this opportunity.
That's really great to hear. So, Australians, you have a patience, and you are going to have a wonderful, great doctors here, Ayurveda consultant, who are serving the community in Australia as how you are getting traditional things, the ancient wisdom in India, same way you are getting here. So, I have seen your business name like Ayurveda for Wellness, Health and Wellness Clinic. So, what is your understanding about Ayurveda? What is Ayurveda for you?
Ayurveda is holistic health.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very, very prevalent system of medicine in India. We all know that. It's a household practice, right? But I consider Ayurveda as a total way of living, you know. Yes, we
Mm-hmm.
get medicines, we get treatments, we get therapies, but apart from that, the diet and lifestyle principles that Ayurveda has to offer, I personally feel if you incorporate those principles in your daily living activities, maybe you can push forward the early onset of certain diseases, which we might sometimes relate to age and other factors. So, Ayurveda is a complete system of medicine. More importantly, working with strategies, working with certain principles in changing the way you see your life, the way you lead your life. I think it's only 15-20% of the inevitable things that happen in life where, yes, you need medication, you need surgeries, or you might have something serious that's going on which needs medical attention. But apart from that, it's like carrying with Ayurveda principles, I think it's like carrying an umbrella when you go out. Yes, you can't stop the rain. It's, if it's to happen, it will happen. But at least you're
Absolutely.
shielding and protecting yourself is how I see Ayurveda.
What similarities you have seen in India, Bharat, Australia, and New Zealand, as you are traveling a lot in these three countries? So, what similarities you are seeing nowadays?
The first similarity is the belief in Ayurveda. Because anyone who, I think, and especially when you are practicing this ancient heritage of Ayurveda, overseas, the very, very important part is the belief in the science itself. And anyone who's approaching an Ayurveda practitioner outside of India, I think has a very, very strong belief in this system of medicine. And that has to be, if you are practicing Dr. Khushdil, you would totally agree with me that regardless of how good of a medicine or any kind of therapies you offer to the client, and you're working closely with them, but if they do not believe in what you are doing, it's not going to work, right?
Absolutely.
Or it will have like diluted impact of the therapies. So the very common thing that I've seen is anyone who approaches for Ayurveda treatment, there's a considerable cost involved and everything. People do believe in the science and they have a mindset that they're going to get benefited out of whatever therapies, consultations, changes, whatever they're getting. So that's one common thing I would say.
Right. So the basic thing is they should have believe in yourself that whatever you are going to give them or the way how you are telling the solutions to them, and they are good, they that all things are going to serve them nicely.
Absolutely. The belief, and on top of that, once they start working with the practitioner, I think the trust and rapport that you build over time, and then the belief sort of starts shifting to the belief in the Ayurveda practitioner they've chosen. So it's a journey that you of course, you're working in their best interest, but then you're working alongside them as a coach, as a guide, and it's a person-centered approach that you follow.
Right. So, Dr. Vidhu, when you are saying that you are working with in a different sector like aged care and dementia, so and I have just recently came across with the dementia word, which is becoming very high impacted disease kind of things in Australia. So have you ever come across with those kind of people who are willing to have the Ayurvedic treatment for that?
Well, Dr. Khushdil, I worked with dementia, a person living with dementia or people living with dementia. I worked for over 5 years at a stretch. And that is where, it led to me getting education in that field and then being an educator in that field. What I have felt is definitely there's no cure for dementia as yet. There are lots of researches that are happening, a lot of work and a lot of push and support in this field by the government as well. But some kind of comfort care, some kind of therapies, yes, you can offer where a person living with dementia will benefit from. Because it's very important to understand first what dementia is and the causes of dementia. Maybe that's another topic of another podcast at some
I do
stage.
understand. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, nowadays, the different type of diseases, especially Alzheimer's, we are hearing of very common, very frequently, every here and there, especially 60 plus.
Yeah.
Most of the people are having this type of problems. So, if you have some kind of guideline to follow to prevent this kind of problem to our listeners, that would be great.
Mhm. So this is a very vast topic on its own. And let me tell yourself and the listeners, probably already know that Alzheimer's is the most common type of dementia. Dementia is an umbrella term that
Mm-hmm.
people use, but under there's several different types, and the most common type is the Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah.
And changes in the brain lead to certain signs and symptoms that a person is experiencing. But coming back to the age, it is definitely a myth that Alzheimer's or dementia or any other type is going to come with age.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, age is a factor, but not totally. Younger onset dementia is also, seen and quite common. I myself, I've worked with a person who was 40 at the time when I was working with them, but they were in a facility where they had full and high care support needs. But then that also tells me one fact. I keep thinking that it takes a long while for dementia diagnosis to come through. So maybe in the early 30s is when this person started having signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's or dementia eventually. So what we can do to look after is focus on our physical health alongside cognitive health. Very, very important while we are all busy working and earning money, paying bills, saving a bit, whatever our priorities are. It is very, very important to take time out from whatever you're doing, focus on self-care strategies right from the beginning, and consider, like, for example, the weekend is there after weekdays for a reason, isn't it? We need
Yes.
that break so that we bounce back uh,
Yeah.
on Monday morning. So self-care strategies, please include whatever works for you. I would request everyone to make sure they allocate time for that.
Yes. So in the world of self-care, there are lots of rituals going on a social media and internet. What do you mean by self-care? Taking a break or anything else as well?
Self-care to me is a very personalized thing. What works in terms of self-care strategies for myself might not work for you, for example, right? And
Absolutely.
what you practice in terms of self-care might
Yeah.
not work for me. So it's an individual choice.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said earlier, what works for you is the best thing for you to do. Sometimes on a day off, when I take time off, I call it me time. It's like doing nothing. Even if you're staring on blank walls with no work commitments, nothing that's bothering your mind, that is self-care, right? For some people, yes, physically being active, going to the gym, swimming, yoga is a very popular thing. But yes, there's a cost involved for these kind of strategies. But even taking a walk in the nature, breathing fresh oxygen and letting go of whatever stress you might have had due to personal situation, family, relationships, work. That is, for me, that is self-care.
Yeah. So basically, what I understood is um, not the same thing work for everyone. It could be yoga, walking, just meditation, or maybe some kind of leisure activities if you like to do. And basically, what I feel is whatever the hobby you have, you should try at least once a week so that you just release all your tensions or whatever the ties make you have made in your mind, and that release your extra burden from your mind.
Absolutely. Just sitting idle sometimes and just doing nothing. I'll tell you my personal experience. I tell the family today I'm not cooking. Either someone else cooks or we find alternatives. That gives me a break, and that gives me that free time, anything like that. And then with Ayurveda, with yoga, these sister sciences, there's so much. Meditation is another big one. Even if you put 5 or 10 minutes aside every day, following what you really want to do, I think is the way to go and the way to look after yourself.
Yeah. And very interestingly, I was listening to a podcast, no, the book summary a couple of days ago, and I come across with this analogy or like a theory of self. Uh, you just need to release whatever you have inside by writing on a piece of paper.
Some,
And
please go ahead.
yeah, and all your emotions, you just need to write it down like you are opening up yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, some people like maintaining a journal, and a very, very relevant example, like with what you've just shared, is my mother. She fills notebooks and notebooks and notebooks, just pouring out her emotions, and that is her way of letting go. You know, yeah. So some people do that. Dr. Khushdil, a very personal experience. And this is many, many years ago. I was involved in a catastrophic incident, and I can sit and I can tell you without sharing much details is I could have died in that event. And the only inference and the light that came after that was I'm still alive, and yeah, losing some other, lot of other things. But when you have your life, you can always build it up. And that gave me a realization of how important it is to follow your passion, do what you really want to do, because you're here for a very short while, and give back to the community and try and help others as much as you can. So I connected to Ayurveda on stronger roots since then. Yeah, it was life change.
Yeah, that's what I have seen in your thing. Like you are winner of two awards as well. So one of them is Spirit of Australia. Can you tell the story about it? How you won this award?
They are two out of many. I've got a wall of fame in my practice. You must come and visit. And I take pride in saying that although you do what you do, not for the sake of awards or anything, but a bit of recognition that has come through, I'm very, very grateful for that. So, the can-do attitude, never stopping attitude, and taking life forward, learning from the lessons in life, and then building up something. And then, while you are doing that, trying to help the community. So, as I said, I could have nearly, I could have died in what happened, but there was a different plan that God had for me. So building up on that and doing work, I'm quite connected to social causes like domestic violence, mental health, alcohol and other drugs, suicide prevention. So I try and that becomes therapeutic. The work in those sectors, it becomes therapeutic for me, and self-care. That's my self-care as well. I get a lot of satisfaction that even if you've imparted with a little bit of information and knowledge, and you've helped someone in any big or small way, I think is very, very important. So somewhere during that, those efforts, I think there might have been a bit of recognition. So people are very kind, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that if you have some kind of passion in your life, you will be start working in your field or follow your passion. Doesn't matter whatever happened with your life or in your life. I totally agree with you. So now, what type of people or patients you are looking more, and what are the difference you can see as you are practicing in Australia for such a long time? What changes or what are the difference you are seeing?
Changes or different things. I've been overseas for many, many, many years now, and I do travel in countries, not just staying in one place. And I take Ayurveda with me wherever I go, the biggest thing I'm noticing is the affinity and love and belief for Ayurveda is increasing.
Mm.
And yes, there's a push towards promoting and supporting the science, which I wholeheartedly do, because I can see the benefits and the effects of Ayurvedic principles on mankind in general. So more and more people want to study Ayurveda. More and more people want to get advice from an Ayurveda practitioner, therapies, treatments. And let me tell you, when I started practicing Ayurveda overseas, I literally had to spell out the word Ayurveda to let them know what I was talking about. But now the people who approach me for advice, consultation, therapies, whatever, they are very well familiar with the science of Ayurveda. So they come focus oriented, they come target oriented. Yes, they need your advice, but there's a lot of shift. Yeah, people now know Ayurveda, which is so good as a practitioner to sit, not just from a business point of view or work point of view. As such, people are benefiting from this esteemed science. What else do you want to see, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where we are here for.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree totally.
So this is our podcast today, Dr. Vidhu, and many more other subjects are coming along with whenever we talk. So we will definitely keep in touch with you. For our viewers and listeners, I would give Dr. Vidhu's information under this video in the description. So if you would like to work with Dr. Vidhu for your mental health, dementia, or any other things related to Ayurveda, and if you are in Perth or in India or in New Zealand, please feel free to contact her. Thank you, Dr. Vidhu, for joining us today. It's much appreciated your time, energy, and our talk.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Khushdil, and message straight from my heart for the viewers. Please take good care of yourself. There's a lot of support that is available out there. If you need any kind of information, please get in touch with relevant people. Online, you can look up, but go to reliable sources. Life is very, very precious. So happy and peaceful living to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.